Which is what I felt like I was watching Taxi Driver last night, watching the Rockets.
I'm like, oh, good segue.
Hey, you know what? Maybe this taxi driver is just trying to do something. Oh, no, he just sucks.
Nope.
Oh, the Rockets. Hey, how many times did Kevin Durant pop into your little brain last night?
3 or 4. I'm not going to lie. I mean, as they were trying to score buckets in the half court, and they're just dribbling blindly into traffic and turning the ball over and chunking up turnaround contested threes and things like that. No, several times he cracked. And let's start there. That's one of several things that had me very angry this morning about this game last night.
They ruined Dingus Day. The Rockets ruined Dingus Day.
They did.
You shoot 30% from the floor, 20% from 3.
Yeah.
The worst thing about that game, Sean, is that the one thing they can hang their hat on, the rebounds, they absolutely dominated the glass.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. But you can't shoot.
No. Well, you can't. It's not even that you can't shoot. And credit to Golden State on this. And those of you honestly, there's probably some of you waking up because the game went so late. 95-85, the final score. The Warriors beat the Rockets in Game 1 in a game that I'm still struggling on how to feel about because I'm so frustrated with just the complete junior high offense that gets run by this team, while giving credit to Golden State for being a big part of that. And yet, at the same time, they're down 4 with about 5-6 minutes to go in the game, and they could not be playing any worse offensively. Steph Curry could probably not, against the Rockets, not be playing any better offensively. And Jimmy Butler is pretty good too, and they're still in this thing at that point.
They reeled it in. I mean, they had a lead for the majority of the first quarter. They reeled it back 5 different times to make it a close game. Yeah. I guess that's what I keep telling myself. And you reminded me this morning when I looked at the show prep that, all right, I don't do what every single person always does, which is after Game 1 of a playoff series, freak out and act like it could never be any different. But the Golden State did not play well either. Mm-mm. They're not these circus shots by Steph Curry, even though he makes more circus shots than anybody else, as Kevin Harlan called one of the shots geometrically impossible.
I know exactly which one he's talking about, too. It's that one in the corner.
Yeah.
It was. It was brutal.
And Golden State didn't look impressive either, and yet they've got 3 guys on their team that have over 100 games of playoff experience. The Rockets on the floor last night had 0 people with 100 games or more of playoff experience. And when you're holding the game into the 70s going into the fourth quarter, that's ugly basketball, and you had a chance, to just by shooting better than 30%.
Yeah.
By Van Vliet, just please show up.
Yeah, show up.
Make your easy shots. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that was, I think, the most frustrating thing for me, Seth. And we'll break this game down a ton today on the show. And they're not back at it till Wednesday here for Game 2. That obviously now is a must-win. The most frustrating thing for me is that all the narratives that everybody who wasn't picking Rockets going into this game, all the reasons people like you, me, and a lot of people in Houston that have watched this team all year, including watching them 2 weeks ago, dominate this very Golden State team, that a lot of those narratives came exactly true. The Golden State Warriors had 2 guys that when they needed baskets, they could go get baskets for them. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. And even this Podziemski character was going and getting buckets at times in this game too. The Rockets didn't have that. The Rockets looked completely discombobulated in the half court. I was told this was the reason we're paying Fred VanVleet $43 million a year, is for leadership and the ability to kind of floor general the Rockets into some hoops. They were even when they were scoring, Seth, it was all off of second chance points and like unsustainable things like Alperen Şengün step back 3, stuff like that. I kept looking over at Amy even after made baskets. I'm like, this isn't real basketball. They're missing shots. They're getting second and third chances at it, which is great. But you cannot grit and grind and second chance your way even to the Western Conference Finals. Forget about an NBA Finals. Like, you've got to, at some point, you've got to get open shots, and you've got to knock down open shots. And I think the biggest disappointment to me is the fact that Jalen Green's playoff debut was such a disaster. that he went 3 for 15, and it was because he looked like a rookie at times out there, just dribbling into traffic, out of control. I would have left him on the bench in the fourth quarter of this game.
And we give him credit for some of the maturing and advancement that he's made this year, a lot of the maturing and advancement. But now you look at him, I mean, going into this game, his last 3 games, he was 2 for 7 April 9th. He was 3 for 10 versus the Lakers. He was 0 for 7 versus Denver.
Yeah.
And then he just absolutely no-shows in the playoffs. Yeah, we can, in hindsight, go back and say that, your strategy of resting these guys, Udoka, and being sure they're nice and fresh, it worked in winning the rebounding battle.
Yeah.
It did zero to help them actually turn into any kind of a shooting team.
Yeah. So there's Jalen Green. I thought. Well, then we can get into the free throw shooting, which was just a disaster. Amen Thompson misses the first 2 free throws of the game and kind of set.
Did they break 50?
No,
Anthony Richardson at the free throw line.
11 to 20. Yeah, the 11 to 20. They were 55% from the.
Who would you take in a clutch moment? Anthony Richardson to complete a 15-yard out, or any given Rocket to shoot a free throw?
To make a free throw, that it's a debate.
Yeah.
I think illustrates the exact point you're trying to make. Yeah, it's. It was a good. I thought the key sequence, because we're sitting here complaining, and we should. They lost, and they looked terrible offensively in doing so. They played pretty well defensively. Steph Curry was just making shots where I was watching the Space City feed, and there were so many shots Steph was making where Ryan Hollins afterwards was going, can't defend it any better than that, which is true. He's got a guy in his face, and he's just doing Steph things. I thought the key sequence in the game, Seth, the sequence that kind of put the game away for the Warriors was it's 79-75 somehow. Somehow the Rockets are only down by 4. The refs miss a ball knocked out of bounds at about midcourt that clearly on replay bounced off of Draymond Green's hand. Rockets couldn't challenge it because Ime lost his challenge, the trip down the floor right before that. And what I thought was a good challenge, that play could have gone either way. It was an Amen Thompson block, got called to block, thought it was a charge. I thought it might get overturned. It didn't. You don't have any challenges. So the refs miss a call on Draymond. The Warriors inbound the ball, and Steph hits one of those shots we're talking about. Now it's 82-75. And the Rockets actually get stops 3 straight possessions.
Yeah.
And they do nothing on the other end. The one thing they did on the other end was get second chances on each trip down the floor. But there were Fred VanVleet three-pointers that were Fred VanVleet shot a pull-up three-pointer off of a turnover. Like, what is going on a night where he couldn't make anything? Jabari's turning the ball over. I don't blame him. He had a pretty decent game. But that was the sequence, because then ultimately the Rockets eventually did get it back to 4 after that, but then the Warriors came down, hit like 2 threes, and it was over. So that was the sequence there where I thought they really had a chance to do something. They had the Warriors kind of scrambling offensively a little bit. So are you, for Wednesday, more optimistic that the Rockets were actually in a game where they played like garbage? I mean, utter garbage offensively, or are you feeling like this is what this series is going to be like?
I feel like this is what this series is going to be like, and that's where I'm trying to remind myself. I was trying to figure out exactly when the game broke 70. The score was 69-62, Golden State, with 11 minutes and 7 seconds left. But Golden State is they're very, very much better with Jimmy Butler out there, but it's not like they're a great NBA team.
No.
And the Rockets were doing a lot of the things that they're supposed to be doing. They held the game to below the 70s, going well into the fourth quarter, And you've got to have some semblance of credible shooting. Now, the biggest thing that worries me is just that, man, when the Warriors in the past have just figured out a way to make life really difficult for Jalen Green, the Rockets simply don't have enough other guys that can actually fill in the spaces.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is just fill in the spaces, just play competent basketball offensively, and yes, you're very much in that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll talk myself into optimism within the next 36 hours.